How do you overcome anger towards a spouse who cheats on you?
Anger towards a spouse who cheats on you. That they're already hurting you by cheating on you. Refuse to satisfy them by getting angry and upset as well. So tell them, so spouse, I am not going to get angry at you, but get one of these books in Mahayana temples, which have all these hell realms where people actually go when they cheat on their spouse. You know, and I've seen those books, they're not really real, but sometimes they're very useful. Say, look at this, husband, look at this, this is where you're going to go. You don't need to get angry, just make you afraid.
I get a good lawyer. Dear Ajahn Brahm, your effort towards reviving the Bhikkhuni ordination is admirable. We support you wholeheartedly in this worthy cause. Is there any need for the fuss and commotion which was risen against your initiative, when the male and female forms are just external entities, but inside this human body we're all the same, aren't we?
Yeah, I agree with you that it's just external forms, we're all the same. So if we're all the same, why can't we be treated the same? So I think, yeah, let's treat everybody the same. And quite frankly, I was just looking after the 4 nuns we have in Perth. You never expected this to become such an international crusade, but now it is an international crusade. Maybe something good might come of it. And that's actually why I would encourage you to sign it. It's actually an I petition. So if you Google it, not e-petition, no, I/petition, and you'll find it on Google, an I petition. It's worthwhile doing that because it's got so big already. Let's take it to the next level so it can actually change the position. Because it's getting close to that point now, because it's in the newspapers, especially places like Thailand. 2 very positive articles in the Bangkok Post. Now it's out there. Let's actually just use that. Because, you know, otherwise, one thing Angie told me just before, it was just after I performed the ordination, she was going to a conference. It was a women's conference or something. And she said the one thing that she was embarrassed about, you know, with this type of Buddhism you see here, you know, coming from Thailand, was the lack of fairness for women. I think many of you have probably seen the same. She said, at last I can be fully proud of our monks. And so, now we've got that far, let's make other people proud of Buddhism. Let's actually make people in the West proud of it. Let's make people in Thailand proud of their Buddhism. And I think it's going to be a wonderful thing for Thailand, you know, to have, you know, both the women and the monks. Because look, there are many things which you will never ask me, which you would ask if I was a woman, if I was a bhikkhuni, you know, in these robes but a girl underneath, then you would ask. And you know that. So there's only a certain amount I can do. There's much I cannot do. And if you have like a female form of Ajahn Brahm, what a wonderful thing that would be for each one of you. They could understand some of the problems which I will never understand. We do need both.
Dear Ajahn, my pregnant wife was found to be carrying a baby with a defective heart, and the doctor has warned her that this baby will be undergoing many operations for her in her entire life. The doctor's advised to seriously consider an abortion. She's now upset and depressed, facing a very important decision in her life. What do you think she should do?
Okay. First of all, that maybe tomorrow night's talk is about making decisions. I'll just give you a preview. A monk, an authority, a priest, any wise person should never make that decision for you, because it's wrong actually to pass it to somebody else, and of course, how would I know what being pregnant is like? But what a monk or a wise counselor can do is help you make that decision. It is a tough decision. And first of all, whichever way you go, you will always be totally respected by me and by every other Buddhist who deserves the name of a Buddhist. Whichever way you go, and your family as well. Just whatever choice you make, to carry on with the pregnancy or to abort, please give that woman 100% compassion and support. It's the most difficult thing, and we don't want her to think that if I do abort, I'll feel guilty and people will blame me in the future. No, take away the guilt. And number two, it's one of those decisions, it's on the edge, it'll always be on the edge. As much information as you can possibly get about the condition of that fetus and the prospects in the future, because medicine does change. There are new techniques being developed every year. Keep that in mind, but if it really is going to be a very difficult one, and you decide to abort, that is understandable, that is compassionate, and you are accepted. If you decide to carry on, that is also compassionate, that is wise, that is accepted. Either way, it's a win situation for you. And as far as that fetus, if it doesn't make it this time, it will probably come back again and have another try in your womb. My usual simile is like you go to Changi Airport, especially on some of these top price airlines, and you find that when you get there, the plane is overbooked, you get bumped off, you can't get on that flight. That's like being aborted. But if you do get, especially on SQ, if you do get bumped off a flight, you usually get a lot of money and also an upgrade on the next available flight. So if it is aborted, your child will probably get an upgrade in the next womb available.
Yeah, Ajahn, how do you dispose of Buddhist newsletters or pamphlets with the image of the Buddha on it? Is it alright to throw it into the rubbish chute?
That's actually, yeah, that's a very good point. For me, this is my way. I always burn it because putting it in a rubbish chute, it doesn't feel right to me. So I usually burn those as much. For me, it's respectful. But really, it's no big thing. Don't feel that if you throw it in a rubbish chute, you're going to go and be reborn in hell for the next 4 years. Or reborn, probably more likely, as a bug in the bottom of a rubbish chute.
You can put it in the recycling bin.
Recycling bin, that's a very good idea, because in Buddhism, the Buddha always taught reincarnation, which is so close to recycling.
Throw it away, you put it to good use.
Yeah, right. Recycling is very good, yeah.
Some people believe in reincarnation. They believe that when a person dies and she has good deeds, there's a possibility that she'll be reborn into a human being again. Is this true or possible that my late wife will be reborn as a boy or a girl to my granddaughter, and therefore one day she'll be my great-grandchild, and knowing that would be happiness for me?
Yeah, that happens. Now, one of the stories, a lady, a disciple over in Perth, Thai girl, she told me, she could remember her previous life. She was born in this life in a village over in Thailand, up in the countryside somewhere, and she remembered her father from a previous life. Now, in her previous life, she had a son who did very well at school, and that son became the headmaster of the school, and she was reborn as the headmaster's niece. So her uncle in this life was her son in the previous life, because that's what happens, we get attracted to the same families because of love and attachment. But she told me that because her memory of her previous life was so accurate, the whole village, they knew that that was the headmaster's mother. So when she went to school, in Thailand, I think probably in Singapore, this was about 30 years ago, but certainly in those days, I'm not quite sure if it's the same now, when the teacher comes into the room, everybody stands up. Do you do that in Singapore now? Yeah. Okay. But anyway, in that school, when the headmaster came into the room, she wouldn't stand up. She was only about 6 years of age. She would not stand up for her son. And the headmaster knew that was my mum. So the headmaster, no way could he cane her. She said she could do whatever she wanted in that school, and the headmaster, no way could he cane his mother. How can you cane your mother? So she had a wonderful time at school, didn't learn very much. But that's sometimes a problem. It does happen, that was a true story, and so, yeah, it does happen.